Tonight I'm going to make braised pork loin with prunes. It's not a pork tenderloin, it's pork loin. We're going to start out with a pork loin. It's about 2.5 pounds. And it's a classic French dish, and I think that you will enjoy. First thing we're going to do is we're going to assemble all of our ingredients in a heavy Dutch oven to cook this with on the stove. First thing that we're doing in assembling all our ingredients is we've got our 2.5 pound pork loin. We've patted it dry, salt and peppered it with Himalayan pink salt and cracked black pepper. We have 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter, 1 cup chicken broth, 1/2 cup of water. We have 2 cups chopped onions, 1 cup of pitted prunes, 2 tablespoons of honey, 1 cinnamon stick, and 1 lemon, which we'll squeeze for some fresh lemon juice at the end. My Dutch oven, I put in my 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, my 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter, and while I was salting the pork loin, we heated this up over a high heat on my stove, and we're putting the pork loin in. We're going to brown all sides. We're browning this fat side down, and we will proceed to brown all sides, and then we'll remove this to a plate. You want to make sure that we brown all sides so that we've seared in the juices on the pork tenderloin. Okay, I'm going to remove my pork tenderloin, put it on a plate, let it set aside and rest for a couple of minutes. I'm going to turn my heat down to low, add 2 cups of chopped onions. I'm going to stir these and let them cook on a low heat for about 5 minutes or so until they're softened, and you can just smell the aroma of the onions as they release their juices. Our onions now are softened. It's taken about 5 or 6 minutes to do that. I'm going to take our pork loin, put it in the pan, fat side up. Whatever little bit of juices that were on the plate are going to get poured into the pan. I will pour into the pan my 1 cup of chicken broth and my 1/2 cup of water and my 1 stick of cinnamon. I'm going to turn this on to high. I'm going to bring it to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, I'm going to reduce it to a simmer and cook it for approximately an hour and a half until the pork tenderloin is 150 degrees. Okay, our pork has been simmering for approximately an hour and a half. I've turned it over a couple of times. I'm going to turn it over once more. We're going to add our prunes to our braising liquid, and we'll spread the prunes out around the pork, and we're going to cook it for another 30 minutes or so until the meat is just very, very tender to the fork. We're getting close, so check back in about 30 minutes and see where we're at. Okay, we're going to take and add our 2 tablespoons of honey. We'll mix these into our cooking liquid, and we will let this cook for about 5 minutes uncovered. I'll turn our pork loin over one more last time, and we'll let this cook. Okay, at this time I'm going to remove the pork tenderloin, put it on a plate, set it aside. I will take a bowl and a skimmer, trying to leave as much of the onions in the stock, but I want to remove the prunes. We will discard the cinnamon stick. Okay, we've got the prunes removed. One last prune. And what we're going to do is take a spoon. I'm turning off the heat. I'm going to take a spoon and try and skim the little bit of fat that's in the sauce. You can see that the fat rises to the top. We'll skim this off because we don't want a greasy sauce. And it takes a couple of minutes and a little bit of patience so that you're not throwing away your sauce. You're just getting that fat. You can see the line here of the sauce, and right above it is your fat. And we're just going to skim off. You won't get it 100%, but you want to get most of it off. And what we're going to do after this, we're going to crank up our heat to high. And we're going to bring this to a boil and reduce it until it becomes a little bit thicker. While the sauce is reducing in the pan, I'm going to take and cut our pork loin into approximately 1/4 inch serving slices. As you can see, the pork is very, very tender. We're going to end up adding this back to the pan to make sure that it's reheated. And then we're putting it on a serving platter. Okay, as our sauce is reducing, I'm going to take and add our 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. We'll stir that in. And I will add back our prunes. And this will boil and reduce just a little bit more. And now that I've added back our prunes, I will take and add our sliced pork and let that reheat for just about five minutes, and take a little bit of the sauce and baste it over the pork loin. And we'll give this just a couple of minutes. I'll turn the heat down just slightly. I've taken the sliced pork loin out of the pan, reheated, put the prunes around the outside, poured the sauce over the top, some sliced lemons and parsley for garnish, and there you have it.